Hi everyone, my name is Selina Gallagher and I'm a Senior Environmental Health Officer working with the National Environmental Health Service at the HSE. It's really lovely to have this opportunity to speak to you all today. It's important that we educate all young people and adults in relation to the risks of using sunbeds, but it's also important to highlight that there is legislation in place and this legislation is enforced by environmental health officers working at the National Environmental Health Service. So why are sunbeds popular? Um, Sunbed use and risks, legislation and who enforces the legislation, what is covered in the legislation, what to watch out for, how and why are minors gaining access and using sunbeds. So these are some of the areas that I'm going to discuss with you all today. So the reason sunbeds are still popular is that some customers want an all over even tan. They want a tan that's not going to streak, that's not going to be patchy, that it looks natural when they're at the pool or the beach. Some people believe that it can clear skin conditions such as psoriasis, eczema, acne, and maybe potentially diminish scars from these skin conditions. Others people use sunbeds for body confidence. They feel that if they have a suntan, they look healthier and they glow. Um, some people use sunbed for a vitamin D source, a healthy skin and healthy bones. Others feel that it may relieve some seasonal affective disorder, which often can occur in wintertime in the darker, when it's darker. Um, Sometimes people may be easily influenced, for example, peer pressure amongst minors. And then others are still tempted and lured and enticed with the offers that are promoted within the Sunbed businesses. Um, it's often marketed as cheap and no fuss, and you can sometimes use premises if it's the same owner that if they operate a premises in for example Wicklow, they may have another premises in Dublin and they may have another premises in Kildare, and it allows a customer to use all those premises throughout the country if they are traveling. So it is gives them flexibility, no fuss, no pressure, and can be often as cheap as €1 per minute. So it's so important that we are aware of young people and their use of sunbeds and how they are influenced by social media and by each other. Um, and often young people are risk takers and they don't care about anything other than the tan. However, if they saw the damage the UV and the sun rays can have on their skin, they may think again. The blistering, the burning, the scars, the rashing, the peeling. Sometimes it may increase growth in a spot on their skin or mole, and that may need to be operated on and removed and then leave a scar. So they may think twice if they ever had encountered any of these horrible things. There is no other way but to say that there is no way or safe way to use a tan or a sunbed or get a tan. Using a sunbed increases the risk of getting skin cancer. And a suntan is a sign that your skin is damaged by UV radiation from the sun or using a sunbed. So I did say earlier on that there is sunbed legislation. It's the Public Health Sunbed Act 2014, amended in 2015. This applies to sunbed businesses only. So please bear that in mind. It doesn't apply to hospitals. Any patient under the supervision of a doctor or a medic um, is obviously responsible under their guidance, and this legislation only applies to the sunbed businesses. Anything that's done under the supervision of a doctor at a hospital is executed responsibly at the correct dose with using the correct machines. And as I said, the legislation is enforced by the environmental health officers working at the National Environmental Health Service, the HSE. So back in 2014, The service did a lot of work educating the Sunbed business operator in relation to the law. So it wasn't a case the law came in and the officers all went out enforcing. There was a lot of education, there was a lot of communication and compliance building with this type of business, with the environmental health officers and the Sunbed business owners. But now we're in 2024, so they're well used of the legislation and what's covered in it and how to control and be compliant. With any legislation, there's always an objective, and the objective of the Public Health Sunbed Act is to protect children and those under 18 years of age from the risk of sun damage. Anyone under 18 is not allowed to use a sunbed. It also is to regulate the use of sunbed by those over 18 or more. So to make sure that anyone using a sunbed, that those sunbed businesses are have notified the HSE and that they are being inspected and compliant with the legislation. And then also the legislation is to promote a greater awareness across all age groups. So this is about informing the members of the public that it is UV radiation, it is sun damage, and with that potentially can increase the risk of developing skin cancer. So what is covered in the Act? I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'll just quickly maybe run through some of the things that are covered. Basically prohibits the underage use of a sunbed, sale or hire to anyone under the age of 18. It requires anyone using a sunbed that they're provided with eyewear, that eyewear is compliant with and has a CE code. And basically that sunbed and the building that's used is hygienic. That the sunbed business operator is providing anyone using the sunbed with the health information. It prohibits marketing practice on site and any social media site where there may be a sunbed marketed. It prohibits health claims, get your vitamin D or improve your immunity, helps relieve eczema and skin conditions. And it also requires the sunbed business owner to display warning signs on their premises and on any social media website where they're promoting the use of a sunbed. So basically anyone using or booking online knows from the get-go that anyone under the age of 18 is not allowed. Those warning signs are clearly displayed. And within the legislation, there is a requirement that the sunbed business notifies the HSE of their business, and then it's inspected by the environmental health officers. So environmental health officers carry out a number of inspections for a variety of reasons. So it could be a routine inspection where everything is covered as part of the legislation. It could be an inspection of the social media website because signs aren't displayed or there's marketing or health claims made. It could be on foot of a complaint for whatever reason. It could be a mystery shopper where an enforcement officer will go in and test that person operating the sunbed against the legislation. So often what they might say to the inspector on their routine inspection may not is not reflective to what's happening on a day-to-day basis. So we'd send an officer in pretending to be a customer, and that we would ultimately test that against the legislation. And then test purchasing, and that also involves sending a minor in to see if they can access the use of a sunbed. So the only way we can do the mystery shopper, the test purchasing, is actually sending someone in posing to be a customer, and that's a good reflection of what's happening on that premises. And with any legislation, there's enforcement. So there's fixed payment notices that can be served, and they're quite pricey. For every non-compliance is €300. So often, if there is a non-compliance, it's never just one. So it could be a hefty fine, and that is a good deterrent. Also, there's prosecutions for whatever reason that officer is going to go to court for. But ultimately, if there is a sale to a minor, it's a no-go. The protection of the minor is always priority, and if there is a sale to a minor, there will be prosecution, and we have taken prosecutions, and they're or ongoing prosecution. So these are things that officers are doing on a day-to-day basis. So what role do we all have? So there are areas that members of the public, professionals, working with minors, parents, guardians, we can observe and watch out for at Sunbed premises. You may be walking past a Sunbed business daily from your commute to work, either from the bus or the Lewis, or going from the office to the car. You may have concerns with some of the girls or boys in the local football club, you know, getting tans, or listening to conversations, and that may sort of give you a reason for concern. So if that's the case, you can go to the HSE and discuss any concerns you have before you log a complaint with the environmental health officer. But these are the things that you can be watching out for at those Sunbed premises. So are they displaying their warning signs on the premises? There's also, are they displaying their warning sign on the social media website that they are promoting the use of the Sunbed? So if they are on the premises, you will see the name of the premises written, and there will be a Sunbed business notification number. So that also is an indication that they have registered with the HSE and they are regularly inspected. So they should be really visible and in immediate sight when you enter the premises. And marketing practices, they could be on the window, they could be on the social media site, as I said. No free of charge in the use of Sunbed is allowed. No conditional reduced pricing, which would include happy hour, early bird, no loyalty cards, vouchers or bonus points in order to use a Sunbed. No reduced price offer or advertising or the promotion of above. Book 1 hour, get the half hour free. Buy 9 sessions and get your 10th session free. So you can't be marketing like that. If someone's going to use a Sunbed, they will be paying per minute on that Sunbed. And if there is a package, that it's still the same as per minute if you went in as a customer. Also, if you had concerns, and you are on a Sunbed, you want to make sure that they are providing protective eyewear. Eyewear is so important. So the Sunbed business operator needs to provide eyewear, and that should be advised every time someone uses the Sunbed. Before they go down and use the Sunbed, they should be invited to wear the eyewear. Often there's Winkies, which are the golden ones there displayed on the presentation. You may have reusable ones, eye goggles, and they need to be cleaned and disinfected. But they need to be given to the customer, or the customer needs to be shown where they are and advised to wear them during their Sunbed session. If a customer has their own, well, then that person behind the counter should be looking to see before they go down to use the Sunbed, they should ask to see that they have their goggles. Also, that these eye goggles are CE approved. So there is certain goggles that have to be used for the Sunbeds, and that's something an environmental health officer would also be checking. As I said, the prohibition of health claims. So the promotion or the benefits of using a Sunbed is not allowed. So you might see these on the Sunbed unit themselves, on the window within the premises, on leaflets, maybe on the social media website. So, get your glowing tan, your golden tan. That's not allowed. Anything that's promoting the benefit of using a Sunbed is not allowed. There is no benefit of using a Sunbed. Vitamin D source, increase your immune system, relief of the seasonal affective disorder, use the Sunbed to help clear your skin conditions. All of that is not allowed, and that's the prohibition of health claims. Also, for any person 18 or more, every time they use a Sunbed, they need to be given the health information, and that basically goes into the cancer risks, the eyewear. Every Sunbed session is another risk of developing cancer. So everyone using the Sunbed should be given this to read and understand, and then obviously sign it to show that they have done that. And that's not just once, that's every time they use it. Even if they're a regular customer, every session, as I said, is another risk of developing cancer. So that is something that also the environmental health officers will be checking, that the information is there and that people are given it when they observe during their inspections, and that the information is signed by the customer before they go down to use the sunbed. So how are minors still gaining access to sunbeds? So ways minors are getting into to use the sunbeds, that they're not providing true and accurate information. And our main goal is to get the tan. They'll do whatever it takes to get it. So they will lie. Also, Sunbed businesses, you can create the account online. So before they even step foot in a premises, they can get all this information set up. So basically, all they need to go in and say is, I'm Sarah, whoever. My account number is this, and I want to use the sunbed, and off they go. There's less questioning, less confrontation, less time hanging around at the reception area. There's no embarrassment. So they're creating, and then they're putting the fake age in. So, that's another way, just lying and the speed, and the information is there. So when it's busy, yeah, I have my account, it's this, and then off they go. Often minors are identifying premises that they are getting into. They are also checking premises that are easy to access and commute to and from. So they're going from the Lewis or the bus, and they'll stop off in, for example, Tala, or they might stop off in Dundrum, and then if they don't get in there, they'll get back on the Lewis quickly and keep going into the city centre. So they're not wasting time. And then the other guys know, oh, we got into this place on whatever street in town, and then the others come straight in. So they are picking premises that they can just commute easily to and from. And then parents don't have to bring them around, so they're not flagged on, why are they going here? Why are they going all the way here to use these premises? So they're not flagged either. They're quite independent and commuting between different suburbs. Often also minors are using siblings' details and accounts and topping up cards. So they just go in and tap. And they go in pairs, always in pairs, or maybe 3 or 4. They just egg each other on, and they increase confidence. If one stumbles, the other one steps in. Oh yeah, she's 18. Of course she is. So they have that support. So that's another way of why the minors are getting in. So what and when should we be watching for? Minors may be familiar or friendly with persons working in the Sunbed business operator premises. So they maybe end up being friends, or they may be friends of friends, so they know how to get in. And often ID is not asked, so they just off they go. There are some premises that are cashless premises. Minors have their Revolut cards. It allows them to tap and off they go. They don't need a credit card where they have to be X age. They have the Revolut cards and they can tap. Also the pay-as-you-go premises, it's no fuss, it's easy to pop in. It's €1 or €2 per minute. So it's not a huge taking from their money that they might be given on a weekly basis. Also, some of their businesses have top-up cards, so it's easy to pop in for a tanning session from franchise some of their premises, so they can go from area to area. So it's quite flexible. So just keep an eye on watching, it's some of the premises, watch for the minors waiting outside or near some of the premises. That's always a sign that why are they all hanging out there, do you know? Watch for Revolut transactions. If you are a parent or a guardian, you will see the Revolut transactions popped up on your phones for the accounts you've created for the minor. Also, the shop's name will be identified on every transaction, so that's another way of identifying why are they over there, why are they in town when they said they were going to Dundrum or Leafy Valley or wherever. What were they doing there? And what's that shop? Watch for emails if they're creating accounts. Watch for these activated emails coming in or popping into to emails. So that might be another alarm bell. Watch for their skin, burnt skin, peeling skin, blistering skin, especially in times when there's no sunshine. Where are they getting, why are they getting burnt skin? So that's another thing to just to keep an eye on. And also, most importantly, especially during the summer months, there's festivals, there's concerts, there's discos, there's holidays. Miners go weeks beforehand to build up a base tan. So just keep an eye on those events that they're all excited to go in their pairs and with their friends. Just keep an eye on those ones because that's when they're all then potentially going in 2 or 3 weeks beforehand to build up this base tan. And that's the end of my presentation. So thank you so much for listening to me. And if you have any questions, you can ask me at the end. Thank you.